The Gift of No. Why Saying No Creates Space for Yes. Written and published by MSE Boost. Chapter 1. Reclaiming Your Time. Time is a precious commodity, and in our fast-paced world, it often feels like there's never enough of it. We're constantly bombarded with demands, requests, and obligations that can leave us feeling overwhelmed and stretched thin. However, by learning to say no to non-essential tasks and commitments, we can reclaim our time and prioritize what truly matters to us. Saying no is not about being selfish or uncooperative. It's about recognizing the value of our time and energy. When we say yes to everything, we spread ourselves too thin, leaving little room for the things that bring us joy, fulfillment, and growth. By being selective about what we agree to, we create space for the activities and relationships that align with our goals and values. Many of us struggle with the idea of saying no because we fear disappointing others or missing out on opportunities. We may feel guilty or worry that we'll be perceived as uncooperative or unhelpful. However, it's essential to recognize that taking care of ourselves is not a luxury, but a necessity. When we're overextended and stressed, we're less effective in all areas of our lives, including our work, relationships, and personal well-being. To reclaim your time, start by taking an honest inventory of your commitments and responsibilities. Identify the activities that are essential to your goals and values, and eliminate or delegate those that don't serve you. Be mindful of the time you spend on distractions, such as social media or unproductive meetings, and look for ways to streamline your schedule. When you do need to say no, do so with clarity and kindness. Explain your reasons honestly and offer alternative solutions if possible. Remember that saying no to one thing means saying yes to something else. Whether that's spending time with loved ones, pursuing a passion project, or simply taking a moment to breathe and recharge. It's also important to set boundaries around your time and communicate them clearly to others. Let people know when you're available and when you're not, and stick to those boundaries as much as possible. This may require some difficult conversations and a willingness to prioritize your own needs, but the long-term benefits are well worth it. Learning to say no is a skill that takes practice, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. As you begin to reclaim your time, you'll find that you have more energy, focus, and enthusiasm for the things that truly matter to you. You'll be able to approach your commitments with greater intention and purpose, knowing that you're investing your time and energy in the things that bring you the greatest satisfaction and fulfillment. Reclaiming your time is a powerful act of self-care and self-respect. It allows you to take control of your life and shape it in ways that align with your values and aspirations. By saying no to the things that don't serve you, you create space for the things that do, and you open yourself up to a world of possibilities and opportunities that you may have never imagined. Chapter 2. Aligning with your values. Values are the guiding principles that shape our lives, influencing our decisions, actions, and relationships. When we live in alignment with our values, we experience a greater sense of purpose, fulfillment, and authenticity. However, in the midst of life's demands and expectations, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters to us. By taking the time to identify and prioritize our core values, we can make decisions that honor our authentic selves and create space for meaningful experiences. Identifying your core values requires introspection and self-reflection. Take a moment to consider what's most important to you in life. What qualities do you admire in others? What activities bring you the greatest sense of joy and fulfillment? What legacy do you want to leave behind? As you explore these questions, themes will begin to emerge, revealing the values that lie at the heart of who you are. Once you've identified your core values, the next step is to prioritize them. Not all values carry equal weight, and there may be times when they come into conflict with one another. By ranking your values in order of importance, you create a roadmap for decision-making and action. When faced with a choice, you can ask yourself which option aligns most closely with your highest values and make a decision that honors your authentic self. Living in alignment with your values also requires the courage to say no to things that don't serve you. This can be challenging, especially when faced with external pressures or expectations. However, by staying true to your values, you create space for the things that matter most to you. This might mean declining an invitation to a social event in favor of spending time with family, or turning down a job offer that doesn't align with your long-term goals. It's important to remember that values are not static. They can evolve and change over time as we grow and our circumstances shift. Regularly reassessing your values ensures that you're staying true to your authentic self and making decisions that reflect your current priorities. This might involve letting go of old commitments or relationships that no longer serve you, and embracing new opportunities that align with your values. Aligning with your values also means surrounding yourself with people who share and support your priorities. Seek out relationships and communities that uplift and inspire you, and be willing to let go of those that drain your energy or pull you away from your authentic self. By cultivating a network of like-minded individuals, you create a supportive environment that encourages you to live in alignment with your values. Living in alignment with your values is a lifelong journey, and there will be times when you stumble or stray from the path. When this happens, be gentle with yourself and remember that each moment presents an opportunity to realign and recommit to your authentic self. By staying true to your values, you create a life that is rich with meaning, purpose, and fulfillment, and you open yourself up to experiences and opportunities that truly resonate with who you are. Saying no to what doesn't serve you is a powerful act of self-love and self-respect. It allows you to create space for the things that matter most to you, and to live a life that is authentic, intentional, and true to your deepest values. By aligning your decisions and actions with your core values, you honor your unique gifts and talents and contribute to the world in a way that is meaningful and impactful. Chapter 3. The Power of Assertiveness. Assertiveness is a critical skill when it comes to setting boundaries and saying no effectively. It allows you to communicate your needs, wants, and limits clearly and confidently, without resorting to aggression or passivity. When you express yourself assertively, you demonstrate self-respect and respect for others, creating a foundation for healthy relationships and interactions. Many people struggle with assertiveness because they fear conflict or rejection. They may worry that saying no will damage relationships or lead to negative consequences. However, the truth is that assertiveness is a key component of healthy communication and boundary setting. When you express yourself honestly and directly, you create opportunities for genuine connection and understanding. To communicate assertively, start by being clear and specific about your needs and boundaries. Use I statements to express your thoughts and feelings, rather than making accusations or generalizations. For example, instead of saying, "You always take advantage of me," try saying, "I feel overwhelmed when I'm asked to take on additional tasks without notice." It's also important to be firm and consistent in your communication. Avoid apologizing or making excuses for your boundaries, as this can undermine your message. Instead, state your position clearly and calmly, and be prepared to repeat it if necessary. Remember that you have the right to say no without justification or explanation. When faced with pushback or resistance, stay focused on your goals and values. Avoid getting defensive or engaging in arguments. Instead, restate your position and offer alternative solutions if possible. For example, if a coworker is pressuring you to take on an additional project, you might say, "I understand that this project is important, but my current workload doesn't allow me to take on any new responsibilities. Perhaps we could explore delegating some of my existing tasks to free up my time." Assertiveness also involves active listening and empathy. When others express their needs or concerns, take the time to understand their perspective and acknowledge their feelings. This doesn't mean you have to agree with them or compromise your own boundaries, but it does create a space for dialogue and mutual understanding. Practicing assertiveness takes time and patience, but the benefits are well worth the effort. When you communicate your boundaries clearly and confidently, you create a sense of safety and trust in your relationships. You also model healthy communication and self-respect for others, encouraging them to do the same. It's important to remember that assertiveness is not a one-size-fits-all approach. What works in one situation may not be appropriate in another, and it's up to you to assess the context and adapt your communication accordingly. However, by staying true to your values and communicating with clarity and respect, you can navigate even the most challenging situations with grace and effectiveness. Assertiveness is a powerful tool for creating a life that aligns with your authentic self. By expressing your needs and boundaries clearly and confidently, you create space for meaningful connections and experiences that truly resonate with who you are. You also demonstrate self-respect and respect for others, building a foundation of trust and mutual understanding that can transform your relationships and interactions. Chapter 4. Overcoming the fear of disappointment. The fear of disappointing others is a common obstacle when it comes to setting boundaries and saying no. We may worry that our actions will lead to hurt feelings, damaged relationships, or even outright rejection. This fear can be so powerful that it prevents us from advocating for our own needs and well-being, leaving us feeling resentful, overwhelmed, and unfulfilled. However, it's important to recognize that disappointing others is sometimes unavoidable, especially when our needs and values conflict with their expectations. Trying to please everyone all the time is an impossible task that ultimately leads to burnout and self-abandonment. By learning to manage our fear of disappointment, we can assert our boundaries with greater confidence and clarity, while still maintaining healthy, meaningful relationships. The first step in overcoming the fear of disappointment is to challenge the underlying beliefs that fuel it. Many of us have internalized the idea that our worth is tied to others' approval, or that we are responsible for managing their emotions. These beliefs can lead us to prioritize others' needs over our own, even when doing so comes at a great personal cost. To break free from these limiting beliefs, we must learn to separate our sense of self-worth from others' opinions and reactions. This means recognizing that our value as a person is inherent and unconditional, and not dependent on anyone else's approval or validation. It also means accepting that we cannot control how others feel or respond to our actions, and that their emotions are ultimately their own responsibility to manage. Another key strategy for managing the fear of disappointment is to communicate our boundaries and decisions with empathy and respect. When we approach difficult conversations with a spirit of openness and understanding, we create a space for dialogue and mutual support. This might involve acknowledging the other person's feelings, expressing our own perspective clearly and calmly, and working together to find a solution that meets both of our needs. It's also important to remember that setting boundaries is an act of self-care and self-respect, not selfishness or aggression. When we say no to things that don't align with our values or well-being, we create space for the things that truly matter to us. This not only benefits us as individuals, but also allows us to show up more fully and authentically in our relationships and interactions with others. Of course, managing the fear of disappointment is an ongoing process that requires practice and patience. There will be times when we stumble or give in to pressure, and that's okay. The key is to approach these moments with self-compassion and a commitment to learning and growth. By staying true to our values and communicating our boundaries with clarity and respect, we can build resilience and confidence in the face of discomfort and uncertainty. Overcoming the fear of disappointment is a critical step in creating a life that is authentic, fulfilling, and true to our deepest needs and values. By learning to assert our boundaries with empathy and respect, we not only take care of ourselves, but also create opportunities for deeper, more meaningful connections with others. When we let go of the need to please everyone and instead focus on aligning our actions with our authentic selves, we open ourselves up to a world of possibility and growth. Chapter 5. Cultivating self-awareness. Self-awareness is the foundation of effective boundary setting and decision-making. When we have a clear understanding of our own thoughts, feelings, and needs, we can more easily recognize when it's necessary to say no and assert our boundaries. However, in the busyness of daily life, it's all too easy to lose touch with our inner selves and operate on autopilot, reacting to external demands and expectations without pausing to consider what truly serves us. Cultivating self-awareness requires a commitment to introspection and reflection. This means setting aside regular time to tune into our own experiences, without judgment or distraction. One powerful tool for developing self-awareness is mindfulness meditation, which involves focusing our attention on the present moment and observing our thoughts and sensations with curiosity and acceptance. By practicing mindfulness, we can develop a greater capacity for self-observation and insight, allowing us to identify patterns and tendencies that may be holding us back. Another key aspect of self-awareness is emotional intelligence, or the ability to recognize and manage our own emotions and the emotions of others. When we can accurately identify and name our feelings, we gain a greater sense of control and agency over our experiences. We can also more easily communicate our needs and boundaries to others, without resorting to defensiveness or aggression. Self-awareness also involves tuning into our intuition and inner wisdom. Often, we have a deep knowing about what is right for us, even if it conflicts with external expectations or pressures. Learning to trust and act on our intuition can be a powerful way to stay aligned with our authentic selves and make decisions that truly serve us. Of course, cultivating self-awareness is an ongoing process that requires patience and practice. It's not about achieving a state of perfect clarity or certainty, but rather about developing a greater capacity for self-reflection and self-understanding. There will be times when we feel confused or conflicted, and that's okay. The key is to approach these moments with curiosity and compassion, and to trust that our inner wisdom will guide us in the right direction. One practical way to cultivate self-awareness is to keep a journal or reflection practice. This can involve writing down our thoughts and feelings on a regular basis, or simply taking a few moments each day to check in with ourselves and notice what's present. By creating a consistent practice of self-reflection, we develop a deeper understanding of our own needs, values, and boundaries, and can more easily make decisions that align with our authentic selves. Self-awareness is also about recognizing our own limitations and areas for growth. When we can honestly acknowledge our strengths and weaknesses, we can make more informed decisions about where to focus our energy and attention. This might involve seeking out support or resources in areas where we struggle, or saying no to commitments that don't align with our current capacities or priorities. Cultivating self-awareness is a lifelong journey that requires ongoing commitment and practice. By taking the time to tune into our own experiences and inner wisdom, we develop a greater capacity for self-understanding and self-compassion. We can more easily navigate the complexities of life with clarity and purpose, making decisions that truly serve our highest good. When we learn to trust and act on our own intuition, we open ourselves up to a world of possibility and potential, and can create a life that is truly authentic and fulfilling. Chapter 6. Creating a life of intention. Saying no to what doesn't serve us is a powerful act of self-care and self-respect. It allows us to create space for the things that truly matter, and to live a life that is authentic, purposeful, and fulfilling. When we learn to align our actions with our deepest values and desires, we open ourselves up to a world of possibility and potential, and can create a life that truly resonates with our authentic selves. However, living a life of intention requires more than just saying no to what doesn't serve us. It also involves actively saying yes to the things that bring us joy, meaning, and fulfillment. This means taking the time to identify our passions and priorities, and making a conscious effort to incorporate them into our daily lives. Many of us have a tendency to put our own needs and desires on the back burner, prioritizing the demands and expectations of others over our own well-being. We may feel guilty or selfish for pursuing our own interests, or worry that we don't have the time or resources to make our dreams a reality. However, the truth is that taking care of ourselves is not a luxury, but a necessity. When we nurture our own growth and happiness, we become better equipped to show up fully and authentically in all areas of our lives. Creating a life of intention starts with setting clear goals and priorities. This means taking the time to reflect on what truly matters to us and what kind of life we want to create for ourselves. It may involve letting go of old patterns and beliefs that no longer serve us, and embracing new ways of thinking and being that align with our authentic selves. Once we have a clear vision of what we want to create, the next step is to take consistent, purposeful action towards our goals. This means breaking down our big dreams into smaller, manageable steps, and making a commitment to show up for ourselves each and every day. It may involve setting boundaries around our time and energy, saying no to distractions and obligations that don't align with our priorities, and saying yes to opportunities that support our growth and well-being. Of course, creating a life of intention is not always easy. There will be challenges and setbacks along the way, and times when we feel discouraged or overwhelmed. In these moments, it's important to practice self-compassion and patience, and to remember that growth is a process, not a destination. By staying committed to our own well-being and purposeful action, we can weather the ups and downs of life with resilience and grace. Creating a life of intention also involves surrounding ourselves with people and environments that support our growth and well-being. This means seeking out relationships and communities that uplift and inspire us, and letting go of those that drain our energy or hold us back. It may involve setting boundaries in our personal and professional lives, communicating our needs and desires clearly and assertively, and being willing to walk away from situations that no longer serve us. Living a life of intention is a lifelong journey that requires ongoing commitment and practice. It's not about achieving a state of perfection or constant happiness, but rather about aligning our actions with our deepest values and desires, and creating a life that truly resonates with our authentic selves. By saying no to what doesn't serve us and yes to what brings us joy and fulfillment, we open ourselves up to a world of possibility and potential, and can create a life that is truly extraordinary. The power of intention is that it allows us to take control of our lives and shape them in ways that truly matter to us. When we live with purpose and clarity, we become the authors of our own stories, creating a life that is rich with meaning, connection, and joy. By embracing the gift of no and using it to create space for what truly matters, we can unlock our full potential and live a life that is truly extraordinary.